Welcome to module 4. So just as Joanne has mentioned, my name is Sheila Maweu. I'm a senior account manager with Oracle Technology here in Kenya. And I'll just give a brief overview of what I do at Oracle. So in my current role, I help organizations leverage technology to achieve their overall strategic and transformational goals. I'll give an example of some of those goals are like, for example, citizen service delivery, because I mainly cover public sector accounts. And these organizations use our technology, such as database technology, cybersecurity, middleware, data warehousing solutions, analytics, among other emerging technologies to actually achieve these goals. So as an account manager, I am an advisor to my customer. I manage the relationships with my customer, and I make sure that I maintain the current revenue stream and obviously bring in new revenue because I'm a salesperson. And today, in module 4, we'll be covering how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning is applied in different industries and also function areas within organizations. Yeah. So artificial intelligence is quickly moving from experimental to practical use. And in the recent and also in the next couple of years, every business is going to need an artificial intelligence strategy. And this is basically to just stay competitive in this new age. Getting access to AI is relatively straightforward. It's very easy. There's so many players in the vertical. You know, we have Oracle, we have Microsoft, we have AWS, among other small players in the industry that offer these solutions. But what is really hard is the hard part is applying the technology to a specific business context. So this module will guide you through the fundamentals of how AI is applicable and what concepts, and even explain this, and it will also explain the simplest way for organization in different verticals that can successfully apply artificial intelligence. I don't know whether, has Joanne, maybe you can confirm if my screen, if my slides are moving?
No, okay, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, fine, thank you. So in module 4, we'll be covering a brief summary of what artificial intelligence is. I'm sure you've already covered this in the previous modules. However, we'll just briefly touch on it so that you're able to just have a wholesome conversation. We'll also discuss what is the fundamentals, what are the factors that are driving AI adoption in enterprises, you know, what industries are mainly using artificial intelligence and some of the applicable business use cases in these industries. And then at the very end of our conversation, we'll have group discussions in breakout rooms where we'll be able to discuss what are, from your understanding, how is artificial intelligence enabling decision-making in line of businesses such as sales and marketing, customer service department, human resource, and also the financial management department. So just a quick note here, Joanne, this is where you'll assist me the most because I've realized you have named the groups in a different way that I have named them here. So for me, I'd done group 1 and 8, group 2 and 7. I've had this health, this aviation. So maybe towards the very end, you will give us a guidance of who group 1 is all the way to group 8. So maybe
right.
You can continue. Okay, thank you.
I will do that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
So out of necessity, organizations have massively increased their speed of digital and digitization and uptake of game-changing technologies, such as artificial intelligence and cloud computing. They need to boost customer experience, employee efficiency, and accelerate innovation are some of the 3 main factors driving an increase of artificial intelligence adoption. Today, we will focus our attention on how this technology is driving transformation in enterprises and how different industries, line of businesses have applied artificial intelligence in their day-to-day processes and the benefits of the same. Some of the top use cases include IT automation, process automation, automated threat analysis and investigation. Supply chain is one of the, and logistics actually. Those are the two top use cases that are where artificial intelligence has really been applied. And also recently, we've seen the automation of human resource because of the current circumstances have really driven remote working. Like for me, I've been working from home for the last 1 year, and this is a global policy. So you can imagine our HR department has really been stretched thin. So what our organization has done, they've really gone above and beyond to automate some of our human resources processes. And right now, some of the time, even when you're applying for leave, when you're querying something, you're not really interacting with a human being, but now we are very much interacting with chatbots, which are basically embedded with artificial intelligence. Among other ways, we'll discuss later on in this presentation on how artificial intelligence has been applied in human resource. So what is artificial intelligence? Again, you've had this conversation in the previous modules, but just to briefly touch on this, artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that helps to create intelligent machines that stimulate human decision-making processes with high level of efficiency, accuracy, and precision. As you can see in my presentation, the core tenets of artificial intelligence are learning. The machines are continuously learning. There's natural language processing and natural understanding processes. And this is basically how to extract meaning from the language and how to communicate back. So a perfect example of natural language processing and natural understanding processes is when, I'm sure a number of us we've used Zuri, the chatbot, the Safaricom chatbot. So if you go on Zuri right now, whether it's whatever platform you're using, whether it's on the Safaricom application or website, or even on WhatsApp, because it's integrated across the board, if you tell Zuri, Niaje, it has gotten to a point where it has natural language processing. So it will be able to process, Sheila is saying Niaje, and it will be able to understand and say Hoa. So receiving the knowledge is the processing, the language processing. Understanding and responding is basically the natural understanding process where it's able to respond to you in whatever language you've actually typed into the platform. There's also image processing, and this is how to recognize images and make sense of what those images are. There's robotics. We've seen a lot of little robots trying, someone has a keypad, is giving them instructions. How is that robot able to decipher what instruction it's being given? So obviously it's embedded with artificial intelligence and solving complex problems, reason and logic as well. So artificial intelligence is a broad term and often many other terms are used in context of artificial intelligence. And one of them being machine learning, which is interchangeably used with AI, though machine learning is a subnet of artificial intelligence. So machine learning is a subfield of computer science that focuses on building systems that learn and improve performance based on the data that they consume, allowing them to improve over time. Machine learning gives computers ability to learn without being, being continuously programmed. The other terms use in context with artificial intelligence are, deep learning, which is also a subnet of machine learning, in which multi-layered neutral networks learn from vast amount of data. And then data science is an interdisciplinary field where data and process is used to derive insight from varied types of data. We can go on what artificial intelligence is, on what machine learning is, and deep learning is. And I'm sure some of you have a better understanding of what all these platforms are. But for all these platforms to work, we all need data. And we have so many sources of data right now, because we're always on our phones, we're always on our smart tellies. Some of our cars are also digital or smart as well. We have smart fridges. So there's so much sources of data that we can actually get and use them to our advantage. So I'd like to ask a question to everyone, and this is where you'll be able to unmute and probably give me your answer. I want everyone to give me an example of how artificial intelligence is already being used in our day-to-day life. Anyone?
Yeah, we're using it with Netflix.
Very good example, Netflix. Perfect, perfect. Anyone else wants to give it a try?
This is Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
Yeah, I saw my son using it on Google. I had not really known how to, you can speak to Google and Google actually speaks back.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that is called digital voice assistance. So we have Google AI-powered assistant. We have Apple Siri. I think Samsung has Bixby. The people who have Samsungs, I'm sure you've seen Bixby.
Yeah.
And any other example? There's so many examples. So many examples.
Oh, I can see on the chat from from Pauline, banks in credit scoring, healthcare detection of tumors and cancer.
Yes. Yes. Those are very perfect examples of how artificial intelligence has been applied in our day-to-day. But even before we get so complex with self-driving vehicles, I want us to think about the things that are around you, the things that you use on your day-to-day. Those are the best examples, simple examples that you can actually, maybe point out. I see Bill is saying facial recognition. That's correct. There's facial detection and recognition on your smartphones and your other devices. That is a perfect example of how artificial intelligence has been applied in the devices that we use. Mood detectors, interesting. ATM cards. How is the artificial, okay, Audrey, maybe you can give an elaborate explanation on how ATM cards have been embedded with artificial intelligence.
Well, I'm imagining you have this card, you put it into the machine, and you click in the amount you want, or actually you can prompt it to do anything. So it's I find it to be, some kind of intelligence where it can even come back to you and you say you say 7,000, it comes back to you and tells you your balance is not, okay, your balance is less than 7. So it rejects and pushes it out.
Well,
I don't know how to put it.
It's called balance sheet. Okay, fine. Maybe the platform behind
the platform, yes.
The platform behind the ATM is
the machine,
is what
the
is
machine
embedded.
itself.
The machine, yes, the machine is embedded with artificial intelligence, but not the card. Yes, I see language translators. If you use Google and you say habari yako, translate into English, that is artificial intelligence. I'm seeing what else? There's so many examples, guys. Don't overthink it. Let me give you an example.
Phones.
Autocorrect. When you're typing a text message on WhatsApp and your keyboard is already almost predicting what you're going to say next, that is artificial intelligence. It's a very simple way, a very simple example of how AI has been applied in our simple lives. Someone else, now that I've given a bit of leakage.
I see someone saying
plagiarism.
Driving
checkers.
Yes, Dory?
I'm saying the plagiarism checkers.
Yes, 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 yes. As a matter of fact, when I was in uni, our lecturer used to use one of those platforms. We never used to like it because you go online and try and do your homework assignment and short notice, but he'll actually use a platform to say, okay, fine, this was done by someone else, so that is correct. Yes, social media. Chelagat, Pauline, you are correct. Social media platforms right now are heavily embedded with artificial intelligence. And that's why you're able to take one person's profile and the other one's profile, and you'll realize their, the content that is on their profile is very different because they're profiling you and they are, they're filling your feed with content based off your interests and what you really spend time looking at. So if it's fashion, if it's music, if it's art, if it's hair, if it's clothes, shoes, your feed will be full of such content. If it's technology, such as you'll have a lot of engineering and tech content. Anything else? Robotics, true. Oh yes, Doreen. Email filtering, spam filters in emails. I think you've seen the way Google actually does this perfectly, where they're able to accurately filter spam from from the rest of the genuine email, and even go a step further and even categorize your email using similar approaches, like, for example, your primary, your social, your promotion inboxes. So it's able to label what is even important. Yes, YouTube recommendation and Netflix. Yes, yes. And let me see. Yes, shopping sites, e-commerce. A lot of e-commerce platforms, whatever let's say, for example, locally, what do we use locally a lot? Jumia. Jumia will always have okay, Jumia haven't really 100% embodied the application of artificial intelligence. So allow me to use platforms such as Alibaba and Amazon. They will forever recommend, and this is not being run by, there's no human interaction anywhere from start to finish. However, they will always recommend items based off what you spend a lot of time viewing. There's one particular example we are missing, guys. Google Maps is embedded with artificial intelligence. It's, that lady who tells you in 100 meters, turn to your right, in 100 meters, 200 meters, check the next exit. That is artificial intelligence, which is, again, tied to the digital voice assistant. There's also ride-sharing applications such as Uber. No one is giving me Uber as an example, and that's a perfect example of a platform that we interact on a daily basis with. There's also chatbots as well. When you go to different website nowadays, you'll always see a pop-up. How can I help you? Like, for example, Zuri, as I was talking about a couple of minutes ago, that is a perfect example of artificial intelligence. And there's one more example, which is basically music streaming service platforms. We have Apple Music, we have Deezer, we have Mixcrate, SoundCloud, just to mention a few. We have, even podcast platforms. All these platforms are embedded with artificial intelligence, and they help to make sure that the content that is being pushed to you as an end user is based off your interest. And in the back end machine, the platform is using machine learning to continuously profile you, continuously see, okay, fine, He likes bongo, he likes hip hop and rock. So can we put together, curate playlist based off these genres, and to make sure that he continuously uses our platform? So those are just some of the very simple use cases that already artificial intelligence is around us among so many. And right now, since we're in the age of digital transformation, we'll see a lot of other examples that will actually pop up in the near future. Yes, I've seen, there's a question by Simon.
Yes.
Shazam as well is actually, and they heavily use artificial intelligence. That's correct. That is very correct, Simon. And I also see Zoom. Zoom as well, to some extent, is also using artificial intelligence. Pinterest, any content platform, any content carrying platform is using artificial intelligence. So Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all this platform. Netflix is also a content platform, music platforms, e-commerce as well. To some extent, they are selling new content. If you go to Amazon, they sell movies, music, they sell books, audiobooks, physical books. So they're all embedded with artificial intelligence. So that's correct. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I want us to continue being that interactive. I like that. And ask a lot of questions along the way. If you need to ask a question, please raise your hand, and Joanne will identify you and she'll tell me so I can stop and actually answer the question. So artificial intelligence is becoming the new reality. Artificial intelligence used to be something we used to see in science fiction movies and series, and would be like, wow, I mean, this is only going to happen in 100 years from now. But right now it's becoming a reality where a lot of the platforms that we interact with are run by AI. You see, like, for example, video surveillance. We have cameras. Someone is trying to ask a question.
The Microsoft unmuted. Let me mute them.
Okay. Okay, fine. So like I was saying, a lot of platforms we interact with right now are embedded with artificial intelligence. And in my previous place of work, we used to sell cameras that had the ability to to do facial recognition. They're able to recognize when a bag is left somewhere unattended and raises an alarm, so that someone can actually walk over to see if that bag it has harmful content. We've mentioned chatbots, we've mentioned self-driving cars, although not so relevant in this part of the world. In other parts of the world is actually relevant. I recently traveled, and I took a taxi that the taxi that I took was a Tesla, and even though it was being driven, the driver was kind enough to show me how we can switch from him operating the car to the autonomous mode, and how you can interact with the car. You can play games with the car, you can play music, you can watch your Netflix with the car, among so many things, which was really mind-blowing because it's not really the norm here in Kenya. Healthcare as well, we're seeing a lot of uptake when it comes to emerging technologies across healthcare, especially because of the current pandemic crisis that is ongoing worldwide. And we'll be able to even discuss that further later on as we discuss some of the areas that, or other industries that artificial intelligence is being applied. Virtual assistants, we've just discussed that with perfect examples such as Siri, Bixby, and Google Assist, Netflix, and also money payment platforms are using artificial intelligence to actually detect fraud and prevent fraud. And there's also financial trading platforms that are also using, I'm sure some of us have interacted with a few. There's some that are using artificial intelligence. Actually, most are using artificial intelligence to profile you and see what your interest is, and even give you real-time data of what is happening with the stock, what is going up, what is going down. When you have time, check out a platform called eToro. That is eToro, eToro. That is a perfect example of a platform, a trading platform that is actually using artificial intelligence and data analytics. So the premise of artificial intelligence is its ability to continuously learn from the data it's collecting. You know, the more data there is to collect and analyze through carefully crafted algorithms, the better the machine becomes. Foundation of what shows to watch on Netflix. You know, this is, you know, Netflix will use your location. It will use your previous viewing experience to actually curate more content for you to continuously use a platform. To the rideshare applications such as Uber and Lyft, Taxify as well, the fraud detection in money transfer and payment system, autonomous cars as Tesla. Now, other car makers are actually getting into the self-driving cars such as Volvo, BMW, and so many others. AI has become an integral part of our daily lives, with applications across multitude of industries and lines of businesses. You know, AI is rapidly changing the course of human history. And then again, one thing that has really, I'd like to emphasize on the word rapidly, because in the last, 2 years, we've seen companies that, people putting up startups that are now, startups that develop platforms and solutions that are now a part of us, and we can't even think of, what were you doing without Slack? What were you doing without Zoom? What were people using before Zoom came about? So that is a perfect example of how rapid artificial intelligence is changing the course of human history. And there's so much potential for artificial development that is getting harder. It's getting harder to imagine a future without artificial intelligence. Yeah. So one of the fundamental application of artificial intelligence in agriculture is how AI is helping farmers analyze data. There's so much data that farmers nowadays are sitting on. And agriculture is a massive industry that plays a vital role in maintaining the economy of a country. And when you look at Kenya, for so many years, in primary school, we used to be told agriculture is the backbone of our economy. And it's the same when you look at other African developing countries. It's not the same now, but still, agriculture is a vertical that, or rather an industry that will continue to play a vital role in any country's economy. And with the current population growth, food quality requirements, and other environmental factors, demand for technology is higher than fertilizer. You'll find that a lot of the consumers will go for products that are that were grown with less fertilizer, less GMO, than that they're going for organic produce. And artificial intelligence in agriculture has proved to be a cut-edging technology in getting high productivity and better crop yield. And when you look at some of the challenges that artificial intelligence is solving for farmers that are using traditional methods, and maybe even before I can highlight them, from our own understanding, maybe we can get like 2 to 3 examples of some of the challenges farmers may be facing that artificial intelligence is actually solving. Anyone? Two examples?
I have an example.
Yes.
Something I read and saw from Twiga.
Mm-hmm.
So Twiga, what they do is that they harvest, or rather they have a point where they collect produce from all over, and then they have a platform where farmers can Okay, a platform where a farmer can, for example, say, I have these kilos of onions, I'm selling at this much, then Trigger now puts it out there in the market. So it's just communicating through the farmer, the person who has in the farm, and the sellers out there, I mean the buyers out there. So it's more of yeah, it's more of a link to a market, produce to market for farmers.
Yeah. So in simple terms, what Trigger is doing for these farmers is actually plain simple as inventory management for them. You know, and also getting them a market, giving them a platform where they can sell their produce. A lot of farmers, when you go to a farmer, the last thing on his mind is inventory management, right? But it's a key factor in any form of business. You need to be able to know how much is coming in and how much is going out, and also use that data that you're capturing at every moment where a potato comes in from harvest and is sold out after 3 months. I want to be able to tell at what rate are my potatoes selling. You know, how high is my demand? You know, with that kind of data, you're able to tell how much my demand is. And with artificial intelligence, if you're able to have a predictive analytics of, in the next few months, I should be able to forecast and say the demand for potatoes will have raised or will have gone down based off the prehistorical data I have. Yeah. Lastly, you'll be able to anticipate demand from your buyers. That way you're able to plan ahead of time. That's a good example. Thank you. So maybe we can get another example.
I think we have a question or a comment from Edgar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Edgar, are you going to ask the question or is it on the chat?
I think his voice is not clear. Edgar, are you able to?
Okay, I'm getting to that I'm a bit confused. So maybe I can just disconnect and connect so I can come and give my view.
Okay, maybe Edgar, what you can do is type your question or comment in the chat and I'll be able to review it. So Simon, I see you're saying that you're developing a locust detection and prediction application. Yes, that is a perfect example. And you can even see some of the, one of the examples I've put is that, which one is it? With artificial intelligence, rather, farmers are able to predict and even prevent pests, whether it's locust or even weed. They're able to use artificial intelligence to actually predict and actually prevent it. So some of the challenges, even before we get to the benefits that I've highlighted in this slide, in farming, climate factors such as rainfall, temperature, humidity play an important role in the agriculture life cycle. With the recent increased deforestation and pollution, this has resulted to climate changes. So it is difficult right now, it is difficult for farmers to take a decision to prepare the soil, sow seeds and harvest. And we've seen that right now here in our own country, where it never used to rain in January, but it's raining. January used to be so sunny, or it's raining in December. All this is climatical factors that are currently affecting farmers all around Kenya. And you can imagine these farmers do not have access to artificial intelligence where they're able to predict the weather so that they're able to plan accordingly, according to the crop that they are farming. There's also deficiency of nutrients leading to poor quality of crops. This is a challenge that artificial intelligence is able to mitigate by the use of analyzing data and giving out warning so that the farmer is able to make informed decisions. Sorry, someone wants to ask a question or make a comment?
No, not yet.
Okay, fine. And as well, we can see in an agricultural life cycle that weed protection plays an important role. If not controlled, it can lead to an increase in production costs because you have to buy this pest control. You have to bring in labor to actually go out and weed. And it increases your production cost and also eats into your profit margin. And also it absorbs nutrients from the soil, which can cause again nutrition deficiency in the soil. So there's a constant increase in the need of reliable and high quality food provider, and artificial intelligence plays a vital role in the same. The traditional approach used by farmers are no longer sufficient in achieving the demand and supply. AI has provided much automation in agriculture that helps farmers to monitor their crop even when they're not in the field. And some of the ways farms can actually benefit from artificial intelligence is, for example, farm produce hundreds and thousands of data points on a daily on the ground daily. With the help of artificial intelligence, farmers can now analyze a variety of things in real time, such as weather conditions, temperature of soil, which is very, very important to some crop, depending on what your buyers' expectations are on the quality of the produce you're providing. Water usage as well is very key because, again, we're in a country where it doesn't rain all year round. So when you look at the conditions that we have grown up in, a lot of farmers have to harvest water and keep it so that they're able to use it when it's not raining, or they have to pump water from a very long distance, which again increases the cost of production, or they have to dig deep wells so that they're able to irrigate their crop. Again, this raises the production cost. And then again, another daily data point is the soil condition collected from their farm to better inform their decisions. Yeah. So artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence technologies help farmers optimize planning to generate more yield by determining crop choice, the best hybrid seed choices, and resource utilization. So I'd like to expound on this. My father is a farmer, yeah? And he's in his 60s, almost 70. And he used to work for Kari. Now it's known as Carlo. And I remember when I was a child, I would accompany him in some of the farms that he'd actually go survey. So there's Katumani, among other farms and institutions, government-owned institutions across the country. So he was part of the team that came up with the drought-resistant maize. I'm sure we remember that. And that the reason why I'm referencing it is because it's very specific, because the reason why Kari put together that particular hybrid of a seed was because back then, digital transformation had not started. So weather forecasting was not something that was very accurate. However, when you look at the difference between back then and now, a lot of organizations and a lot of platforms are able to, even without owning, some of these platforms are actually very expensive, but there are some there's some startups that have put together platforms, and they share these platforms with small scale farmers, whereby they're able to actually give them data on what the weather outlook is. They even come and there's a Tanzanian startup there's a startup that is in Tanzania and also in West Africa that uses drones that they come into your farm and they do an end-to-end surveillance of the entire land, taking pictures and also taking soil samples and do an analysis and let you know what the condition of your land is. Do you have enough nutrients in your land? Are there any pests that you need to address within your current crop? So, artificial intelligence has really come a long way in helping farmers, especially here in Africa, to make sure that their yield and their crop choices is good based off the current condition. So AI systems are also helping improve harvest quality and accuracy. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. The last is on how farmers are utilizing drones, and I think I'd mentioned that. That was, it just came to mind. But again, drones are really being used in farming outside of just image taking and analyzing the images. We've seen large-scale drones that are able to even irrigate, that are even able to spray pest-resistant fertilizers. It's able to do a surveillance. It's able to, give feedback to the farmer where the yield is ready for harvest and etc. Maybe I can open, the floor for a discussion on some of the benefits that maybe I might have overlooked, because I know I'm dealing with a very informed, group. What are some of the examples that farmers here locally in Africa and Kenya, how can they benefit from the use of artificial intelligence outside of what I've highlighted? Do you have examples? 2 examples, please.
Yeah, there is one example.
Yes, Justine.
Yeah, due to the encroachment of humans on land, we can see that there are organizations that are applying the use of vertical farming. Is whereby people are doing farming without the use of soil. You have your own apartment somewhere, but you can do farming in there. And the help of this has come with the technology. We normally apply the spectroscopic measurements, whereby we only use water. We feed nutrients into the water. And from there, we can be able to grow crops that do not grow all. I can see those crops that don't have stems. And we can be able to monitor their growth curves. That is now through the use of artificial intelligence. And we can be able to monitor pest control using the AI. And yeah, you can do farming without just having a piece of land.
That's actually a very good example. Thank you so much, Justine. There's a name for that. I'm trying to remember. It's called hydro something.
It's hydroponics.
Yes, hydroponics. Yes. The use of water, and sometimes you'll find like some farmers will actually have fish in the water. So the fish, excuse me for saying this, but the fish poop will act as nutrients to the plants. And also the plants will also give that when the plants dry out, sometimes they have also drop-ins, they'll also act as food to the fish. So it's almost like a symbiotic relationship. So that's a very good example. And obviously, the artificial intelligence is used to monitor different conditions, the temperature of the water, humidity levels in the enclosed area. That's a very good example. Yes, I saw a video of a gentleman in the US that has actually automated his farm from end to end. And he's actually African. He's actually Kenyan, and he's using artificial intelligence and analytics and machine learning to actually run his farm by himself. He doesn't have any workers who help him, including even like monitoring how many eggs are being laid by his chicken, and how to increase his yield, and how many fish are going to be in his fish tank in 3 months. So it's a really interesting. I'll try before the end of this session. So I believe we can go for a break. John, maybe we can.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. We can take a 5 minutes break.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes, and then after 5 minutes, what time is the breakout session? Is it after the break or after a few slides?
So I do have a few other slides that I need to just showcase before we go to the breakout. The breakout session is going to be at the very end. So we do have quite a number of things to discuss. we go into the breakout session. Again, I like the fact that it's a very interactive session, so I will not rush. So we'll discuss on how long the presentation will take in a few.
Okay, I don't know. I think you have a question, John. John, you have a question?
Joanne, I had a question because I thought today we were going until 10:30, but it looks like we have more to do today. What time are we signing off? Because I had another meeting coming up.
We're anticipating to be done by 8:30.
8:30, which is in another hour?
An hour, yes.
Okay.
I hope that's okay.
Let me see if I can move my other meeting.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, take a breather, 5 minutes, get some water, take some tea, a snack. Then we come back here at exactly 7:33. Okay, thanks.
Okay, maybe I just want to see if everyone is back. So if you're back, maybe you can just indicate on the chat that you're back. Thank you, Bill.
I see most of them.
Hi, Doreen. Yes. John, Hazel, Molly, Justine, Dennis. Great. I see a lot of us are back, so we can continue. Any question on the application of artificial intelligence in agriculture, in the agriculture industry? Any question before I move on to the next topic?
I have a question.
Yes, Edgar.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, can leader technology be used in agriculture also with AI?
What's that technology?
Leader. Yeah.
Leader technology. Give me an example of a leader technology.
How do I explain it? Let me think of something. Okay, I really am not sure if it's currently being used in our country, but since I don't know, but the abbreviation, no, actually that one is geospatial, like a way of use light to actually let me just check the full meaning, the full word is light detection and ranging technology.
Okay.
It's mostly used for sensing.
Where else has it been applied? So maybe we can see if we can be applicable in the agricultural industry.
I think it has been used mostly by surveyors.
Surveyors.
Yeah.
You mean leader that is used in self-driving cars?
Yeah, it started with surveyors and it's being adapted into self-driving cars.
Okay, I think the way that leader can be applied into agriculture is maybe, you know, if for example you have automated machinery that does the self-harvesting, that is able to analyze your crop and make an informed decision on whether your crop is ready for harvest, then it's able to sort your harvest. So maybe in that sense, that's how that technology is applicable in the agricultural vertical. However, we want to talk about simple use cases that are applicable here in Africa.
I think, sorry, Sheila, we have a hand raised by Justin.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go
ahead, Justin.
A comment on it.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So, to answer the question that was asked.
Sorry, we can't hear you, Justin. Can you raise your voice, please?
You can hear me?
No, you sound a bit far.
Oh, I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Yeah, I think we can talk here.
Okay, so what I was saying is that the latest technology mostly it's been applied in self-driving cars, and majorly they're using microwave. But again, when you come to the field of agriculture, as he said, it can be used for remote sensing. And now we can talk of later technology in terms of variation in slopes and elevations. So the main way that the data technology can be used is just by the management practices. Can be able to tell the given sloping mechanism of a given area, how the land, let's talk of the aspect of the landscaping aspect that is, and it can help the farmers to know on the best management practices to be able to use in their in the locality. I think that is the best way that daily decisions can be used in agriculture.
Okay. Very insightful, Justin. Thank you very much. Though I wasn't able to hear 100%. What you said, Nini, 100% what you said is true. I wasn't able to hear everything. I would have loved if you're more audible because it sounds very interesting. So maybe you can try and maybe work on your audio. I don't know whether it's the same for you as well, Joanne.
Yeah, I think it was not clear, but we'll get his feedback.
Yeah. So maybe Justin, please check on your audio, and then maybe we can have a conversation about that. So our next industry that we're going to discuss where artificial intelligence can be applied is the health industry. And, you know, because of the current global crisis, that the focus of advanced research across medicine and vaccines, social and mental health care, and also environmental health care has shifted. You know, and it has, you know, we're seeing a lot of countries rapidly adapting emerging technologies to actually deliver healthcare benefits to their citizens. You know, we're seeing healthcare researchers showing immense success while applying artificial intelligence techniques to identify and predict the spread of, you know, COVID, as well as improving diagnosis and expediting vaccine development, and also predicting the side effects of these vaccine. Also, AI is being leveraged by the healthcare industry to a significant extent, and it is bracing itself up more for various changes, as the industry itself is bracing itself up more for various changes. So here, so that so that citizens, especially in different countries, are able to benefit from all these use cases. Some of the use cases I was able to put down, and I'm sure we can come up with so much more, is, for example, early detection of viruses and diseases, you know, and this is overall reducing the mortality rate, robot-assisted surgery processes, pharmaceutical research, discovery and development of new medication and vaccines. We're seeing Internet of Medical of Things, which is a new concept, and this is basically health. You know, where a lot of healthcare organizations are delivering virtual care and digital consultation. Here in Kenya, we have is Mdawa, among other platforms. There's one I saw that was launched a couple of weeks ago. I've forgotten the name, but it is becoming a thing at our very own backyard. We have automation of internal administrative tasks, and this is within a hospital. This is within a pharmaceutical industry, some of the tasks are being automated, and they're all using artificial intelligence. They're also using AI to mitigate failures and reduce cost in clinical operations and trials. So maybe we can give about 3 other examples that maybe I've not captured within this slide that are very applicable to the use of artificial intelligence in healthcare. 2 to 3 examples, real quick. Any examples?
You mean examples in the health industry?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. There's ultrasound.
Yes.
That's from Hazel.
CT scans, ultrasounds. That's correct, Hazel. Thank you. One more question.
Dial-a-dactyly.
Dial-a-dactyly is very accurate, and that falls under the Internet of Medical Things. Virtual care, digital consultations, where you're even able to do a video call, a chat with a consultant on the other end. And this is actually overall reducing the human-to-human interaction, which can actually lead to transmission of COVID among other diseases. One example, and then we move on to manufacturing. I'll give a perfect example. When you go to hospital, you are essentially a customer to the hospital. So for them to give you an end-to-end personalized experience, some hospitals, even here in Kenya, I'll give an example of Aga Khan, they do keep customer records. So even when you go and put in your details and to get a ticket to be served, they already know, when you put down your number, they know this is Sheila Maweu, and they're able to, help the doctor even be able to generate a report of, your history, your medical history. They're also able to give you a personalized experience as a customer. I think that's a perfect example that is very, very common here in Kenya. Okay.
I can see there's an example that has been given by Bill, talking about Dr. Elsa, an artificial intelligence powered digital assistant in Tanzania.
That's a perfect example. Thank you very much, Bill. It is a artificial and digital assistants are applicable across all verticals, because again, all these industries are customer-facing industries. They're not B2B industries, they're B2C. So any industry that is interacting with any consumer, they all have an overall objective to enhance their customer experience. So most of them will actually adapt digital assistants to achieve that. Okay, moving on to manufacturing. This is actually one of the verticals that where the first industry to adapt artificial intelligence because of robotics, because of the automation and use of an elimination of human interaction. So in manufacturing, ongoing maintenance of production line machinery and equipment presents a major expense to any organization, having a crucial impact on the bottom line of any asset-reliant production operation. So artificial intelligence can enable systems to govern themselves in order to minimize downtime, optimize asset utilization, and even predict failures, and also even schedule maintenance as well. So looking at the massive amount of data that each assemble line collects, Human beings cannot possibly analyze all this data. Therefore, artificial intelligence is required to make sense out of all this data. Let me give you a perfect example of KenGen. KenGen has power plants, the geothermal plants all across the country. And what they have systems that they're able to monitor to make sure that the pressure levels are accurate, to make sure that the temperatures are accurate, to make sure that there's no system failure, to even do a prediction of any failure, to schedule maintenances. It's automated in a way that from end to end, there's no human interaction. And overall, this has really helped the organization to cut back on their overall operational cost, and making sure that they're able to even earn more profits. So some of the use cases, like I'd mentioned, is enhancement of product development, because when it comes to robotics, they're able to make the same product over and over and over again. And this basically ensures product quality, prediction of failures, design of customization, performance improvement. When you eliminate human interaction in a process and you bring in robotics, obviously the performance is going to be higher, because a robot is able to do something 100 times more faster and accurate than a human being. Logistics monitoring and optimization as well. Prediction of maintenance of machinery, we've mentioned that. Price forecasting of raw materials. Improvement of quality assurance, I think I'd mentioned that. And one thing that is very crucial here is warehouse and inventory management. Such reporting needs to be in real time, not at the end of the day, where a lot can be miscaptured. And also process optimization. These are some of the use cases that we have seen here locally that are being used, especially by BIDCO. BIDCO is one of the organizations here in Kenya that has almost 100% automated their manufacturing processes, and are also reaping from the benefits of actually using some of the emerging technologies to do so. Any questions before I move on to the next slide? Okay, so the last vertical we're going to review is e-commerce. E-commerce has really benefited from the use of emerging technologies, and the use of artificial intelligence in online shopping is transforming this industry by predicting the shopping patterns based off the products that shoppers buy and when they buy them. Apart from in the e-commerce industry, is being utilized by online retailers to provide chatbot services, analyze customer comments, and provide a personalized service to online shoppers. And we'll even see an example of when you're doing, you've really bought, you're about to check out, your cart is ready, and then you'll see a pop-up on the website that tells you, most viewers have bought this item alongside this item that is already in your cart. So that is a perfect example of the application of AI in retail. The other perfect example, which happened last year, was a fashion brand called Hanifa that did a fashion show without any models. I don't know whether you guys saw that. It was just the use of imagery and artificial intelligence to simulate how a model would have looked if they walked down if the cat walked down, and to showcase the clothes that they were wearing. So that is a perfect example of how the fashion industry is actually applying artificial intelligence. E-commerce retailers are increasingly turning towards chatbots and digital assistants to provide 24/7 support to their own online shoppers, intelligent product recommendation and placement as well. We have, especially the placement, which is actually a new concept. We have screens that are being deployed in different parts of the world in airports, whereby, for example, I can walk towards it and the screen will recognize me and give me information based off my flight, only my flight details. We also have, and then someone else will walk in and say, this one is flying to Kinshasa, I'm flying to Johannesburg, but we'll all see different details on the screen. That is actually a perfect example of artificial intelligence in product placement. Again, inventory and warehouse management, as you can see, it's something that is common across all verticals, and it's actually a key component when it comes to supply monitoring of an efficient supply chain distribution channel. There's also sales trends over the previous of years. Retailers are using artificial intelligence to project and anticipate changes in product demand. I think we also touched on this when we were talking about farming and how Twigger is actually using artificial intelligence to assist its farmers to push its products. Potential supply related issues to predict, this should be to predict potential supply related issues that could impact inventory levels. The system is able to tell you based off your historical data. I know right now you have 10 pieces of tomatoes. In the next 2 days, this inventory will be depleted. So you need to bring in more supplies. To send out personalized AI-enabled email marketing and AI-enabled supply chain automation. Yes. Any question? Okay. Any question, any comment?
There's someone who's unmuted. Let's see. I think we're good. We can move forward.
Okay. I'd set out this. Maybe we can take about 2 minutes to ask questions in regards to, the handful of industries and use cases that we've identified in the last couple of minutes.
I think we have a question from Amanda.
No.
Yes, Amanda.
No, I don't have a question, no. I was just asked to unmute and I unmuted.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So if I don't have any questions, I have
customer service, and finance. And that's just the beginning. Reduce errors and downtime. Improve forecasting. Increase productivity. Artificial intelligence can cut days off the time it takes to close your books each month. And it can take almost a week off order fulfillment times. The big players are already using AI to leap ahead, and we know because we're one of them, and we're getting ready to help a new generation of AI-powered businesses. By 2027, 75% of today's S&P 500 companies will be replaced by companies that take advantage of the new tools, new techniques, and new insights of artificial intelligence. And that's not science fiction, it's science fact. Get the facts on smart data, access pre-built apps, and discover new insights. Unlock endless possibilities with Oracle.
Yeah, so I'm a little biased. I use an animation from our organization because that was the most, it only made sense because I understand our platform very well. So without further ado, we need to proceed to the group discussions. During this group discussion, we'll be discussing how AI could potentially enable decision-making in different line of business of an organization. I think, Joanne, you were to assist me with the group naming, because I noticed that I'd also done the naming differently from what you have already done. There's systems, there's tech, health. You'll need to assist me on how we're going to do that. But the objective is to discuss 5 use cases on how the specific line of businesses that has been assigned to your group can adopt artificial intelligence into their day-to-day processes. You need to discuss and list 5 benefits of adopting the platform, identify the risks of adopting that platform, and then assign 1 rep to actually present on what your discussion findings will be. We'll take about less than 20 minutes to actually have this discussion. And then now we'll come back and do a presentation of what we have discussed in our respective breakouts. So Joanne, I don't know how, maybe you can guide us on how we're going to move forward.
Okay, before that, kindly hope so that we can have it in the groups. So you want them to discuss 5 examples on application of AI.
Yes, I can easily copy this to the chat.
Yes, kindly. That would help. So yes. As you do that, I can brief about the groups. So I'm going to open the rooms. You will see the rooms on your screen. So what you do, you join the room that is affiliated to your group. So for example, we have AI systems, we have AI and transportation, that is group 1, please join. We have financial AI systems, that is group 2. We have beauty and health, that is group 3. We have sales and advertising and marketing, that is group 4. Please just click the word join on your screen. We have AI systems, group 5, we have legal team, group 6, we have tech and robotics, group 7, and we have agri-tech AI, group 8. So those are the 8 groups that you Richard, where am I assigning you to? If you can hear me, Richard. Richard, okay, I think Richard cannot hear me, but I think he was in tech the last time. So let me assign him this for now. We have Joshua. Joshua, can you hear me? Where am I assigning you to?
Oh, I can hear you. I get legal team, please.
All right.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
So Winnie, you were with us the last time. So possibly you can be a guide. You can join any of them. Where can I assign you to as a guide or an observer? Winnie, can you hear me? Okay, let me assign Winnie to agriculture. Okay. So Sheila, where can I assign you now? Because you're the only person.
Yeah, I think I'll just join them. I'll join each room at a time.
Okay.
Just checking to see how the discussion is going. But I can actually see Dina, that is Dina is in financial and also in sales. I see a lot of people who are by themselves. Like for example, agri-tech, Justin is by himself.
Sales and advertising is by, yeah, I can see, and also financial. No problem. I'm going to join any of them at any one time. You can start with them.
Okay,
so
fine.
Dina is going to begin. That's
okay, fine. So I just, you can't move her to a group that maybe you can move her to AI systems.
Let me join her. Let me join her and see how she's assisting.
And also Justine, maybe you can move Justine to join Dina.
Okay, Richard, detect.
Hey, John.
Decision making in sales and marketing.
We'll be starting in a few seconds in the next 1 minute. Just a brief presentation will give you maximum 2 minutes to tell us about the benefits of AI application and the challenges, what the coach has indicated as part of the presentation. So the rooms are completed in 15 seconds.
Hi.
Yes, Joseph?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm from Group 1, and we are taught how AI has affected the benefit of AI in the decision making.
All right. Just
firstly, the things we talk about is.
Sorry, 1 minute, Joseph. Just 1 minute.
It helps us to produce.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it helps us lay of product, the right product that will suit to the market. That's the first one. Secondly, we said it helps manager to monitor in terms of sales employees. AI help managers to monitor their growth and development. And lastly, through AI, it helps us to monitor the marketing trend. The benefits of the three benefits we discussed, AI has affected positive decision making in sales and marketing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. That was fast. Sheila, okay, kindly mute your microphones. Oscar, Diana, kindly mute your microphones so we can hear you. Thank you. Okay, we had the first presenters who have made the presentation. I don't know, Sheila, did you hear that?
Not quite. So maybe I can direct Joseph, you were doing the presentation. Could you kindly just take us through, first identify what line of business were you discussing?
Yeah, Group 1, AI and transportation.
Sales and marketing. Sales and marketing.
Oh, sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing.
Okay, so yes. Joseph, what are the 5 use cases on how sales and marketing can adopt artificial intelligence?
We said first, it helps in the area of product development because AI will help us to generate the right data that will help the sales and marketing team to produce the products that will suit into the market. So the area of product development, AI will help sales and marketing. That's the first.
That's correct.
Secondly, we said in the area of managers monitoring sales employees, those who are doing the sales in the forefront, through AI, we know whether there is increase in sales or there is decline. So we use AI to monitor sales trend also.
That's correct.
And finally, we said we use AI to monitor the marketing trend. The outcome will predict the trend. That's based on how things is going. We use AI to predict the future as our marketing trend. So we use AI to predict or to study marketing trend.
Okay.
All right, so thank you. These are some things that we discussed.
Okay. All right. Are there any risks that you foresee in the adoption of AI within within sales and marketing?
Yeah. Yes. We will not discuss it thoroughly, but we also know that one of the things for SMEs, sometimes it might be costly for them to adopt AI into their business venture. It might be costly for SMEs, small businesses, to incorporate sales and AI, sales and marketing work and approach. So it's one of the risks to identify. It's one of the risks to identify.
Okay. I think that's good. I think some of the use cases, maybe if I can expound on some of the use cases within sales and marketing department is, accurate sales forecasting, how to put together personalized experiences for your customers. AI also helps. This can help the sales and marketing department to actually, create, qualify their leads, and also come up with specific marketing campaigns depending on the demographic that the product that they're selling belongs. So it's basically helps the department to make informed decisions and to put together informed campaigns and to qualify leads and reports on how to tackle accounts from the beginning, scaling scaling to new customers. So you're able to venture into new markets faster than before because you have all these data in your fingertips. I see a lot of people contributing. Okay. Yes, so that is actually correct. Thank you very much, Group 1. So maybe we can move on to Group 2. Over to you, Joanne.
Okay, we move on to Group 3, beauty and health. We can have the representative talk about the group.
Hello. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, so we were focusing on human resources, benefits of IA in human resources. We were able to identify administrative assessments with regards to human resources. So we looked at analyzing keywords in CVs, whereby you're able to target individuals for specific roles easier for interviews. We also looked at the allocation of things to people who are now already employed. You're looking at the allocation of things like annual leave in a very timely and organized manner. We also looked at identifying and highlighting things that absences at work. for things like sickness records and absences in general. So you're able to then to get to trigger points at an early stage before they become fatal. For instance, you can have someone who is sick but hasn't fully declared it at work, but is being absent. So to identify those and probably help if there's a need and ability to. The downfalls, also we looked at payroll systems to where we're paying employees and they are paid on time efficiently. And then we went into the downfalls. We looked at loss of human interaction, the loss of transferable skills, for instance, in interview, chatting, when you're doing things like these absence interviews sometimes. The benefits we came up with was time free, as in there's less time spent trying to gather things that can be done by the system. And there's also less repetitiveness when you're already following something that's already in a system. That's what we came up with. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. That's very good examples. Well put, perfectly, perfect examples on how artificial intelligence can be introduced into the human resource department. Thank you very much. What's the next group?
Okay, the next group is group 6. That is legal team. Legal team, the floor is yours.
Thank you. This is John. I had Oscar and Joshua in my group, and we started off talking about application of AI in the legal realm, but we realized we were not discussing the topic that we were supposed to be talking about, and so we were redirected to talk about AI in the HR field. So we quickly came up with these 5 areas where we think AI can be implemented. One, in the recruiting phase, where AI can be used to sort resumes and CVs to identify the more likely candidates that fit the job. So a job fit matching that AI can be used to do. Then we talked about tracking performance, like one of the groups has mentioned, tracking individual performance. But our angle was using that to predict the profitability of the business and the likelihood that the business will be successful, or how successful it will be in a given period. Then we talked about matching personality types in the legal field. We talked about matching personality types of the lawyers in a law firm with the clients, so that you can predict the ability for them to have a good working relationship before they even engage in a face-to-face, just based on certain questions that you ask both the attorney and the client. And then the 4th one we talked about was in the interview phase, conducting behavior-based interviews using emotional intelligence that is baked into an AI system. Kind of goes back in talking about personality types, but instead of now talking about matching with clients, we're talking about matching the individual with the law firm in the hiring process. And the last item we talked about was in data privacy and protection of personnel information, making sure that personal data and information about our employees, our attorneys, or even clients is protected using AI to sort the information and either redact what's personal or sort the information and store it separately with different levels of security based on what information it is. Thank you.
Those are great examples. Thank you very much, John, and your teammates. Well put. You've gone even above and beyond and outside the box to actually explain some of the benefits of AI to the legal fraternity. So that's very good. Matching of talent, behavior-based interviews to detect emotions, very, very good examples. Thank you very much. Do you have another group?
Yes, we have group 7. Group 7, tech and robotics. The floor is yours. Who was presenting group 7? Let me see. Group 7, Edgar, Bill, Dina, Keron, Felix, Simon. Group 7, can you give us your feedback? Okay, as group 7 prepares, let's move to group 8. Group 8, actually, before group 8, let us have Justin. Justin, who was in Agri, group 8, kindly tell us what you have.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I think group 8 was still I, and unfortunately I was discussing with myself.
Are you able to move somewhere? Your sound is not compromised.
Okay, let me give it a try. I don't know if I'm audible enough now. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I was tackling the topic to do with agri-tech, and yeah, to check on the minute. Yeah, so I was tackling the AI application with use cases in agriculture, that is farming. So then I came up with about 4 uses. We have autonomous tractors that is in the field of agriculture. I can give an example of a company that is in Kenya known as Hello Tractor. It uses smart devices to detect on a given areas of land that have been plowed. Then we have agricultural robots. So we have companies developing robots that can be able to do some farming work, that is more of plowing and weed control. Then we have controlling pest infestation. Then another use we have soils and crop health monitoring systems. Then one advantage we have in AI, we have increased productivity in yield in AI-enabled farming and input preparation. Then we have greater food safety and storage compliance, and that is with auditing. That is now within with government institutions. And we have the increasing application of AI in our food and supply chain. That is whereby we have now industrial robotics that are working autonomously to ensure that there is a high production even in the industries. And there is one very great disadvantage. So before I get there, there's one advantage that was a bit outstanding. That is artificial intelligence in agriculture, whereby there is something that is known as, where did I write it down? Yeah, crop focus risk analysis. Crop focus risk analysis is whereby we apply what we call the K-means class analysis in agriculture, whereby now we use this clustering process to find each focus of our crop yields, which are similar to one another, and through this we can be able to determine what kind of best practices we can be able to use in the farms. Then one outstanding challenge that came out is that in a supply chain, there's a risk whereby we be having these transitioning of the various phases of artificial intelligence in supply chain, and we'll have a greater challenge in industries, so in countries that are still developing, and that will be a hindrance in the agricultural field, because you find that these other countries, they don't have enough resources to pull up or to skyrocket the AI in the supply chain, and And that is what I found out in my discussion with myself.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for that. I tried as much as possible to capture what you're saying. I think Sheila, did you capture that?
I think I've captured what you've typed on the group, which is very good feedback. Thank you very much. Although it's outside of what the exercise was about. Thank you very much, Justine. I think you've captured what some of the best use cases are for the agriculture vertical. So yeah, I don't know. Is there any other group?
So we go back to group 8. Are you, group 10, are you ready?
Hey, John.
Hi.
Well, I was supposed to represent my group, but accidentally my internet had a low whatever. The bandwidth was also disconnected for some time, but we had discussed one point.
Okay.
Okay, we were doing customer service department, and here we talked about a chatbot with which will give the customers timed feedback, and also the chatbot will be useful. Okay, or the chatbot has been useful to answer to the customer the FAQs, the frequently asked questions. Yeah, that's what I had captured, and then I see my internet disappeared.
Anything else? I'm sure there were other members of the groups that was still in when you were out. Any other points, group 7? Okay, let me point out. Kieron, you are in group 7.
Yes.
Okay, any other points that you had captured that Simon might not have captured?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what did the group discuss in regards to FAQs and timely feedback and the barriers on the same?
I don't think we did that. We only did customer service.
Okay. So you didn't discuss any challenges in regards to application of artificial intelligence in the customer service industry?
No.
Okay. Sheila, then over to you. I think we are done with the groups.
Yeah. So I'd like to commend the effort that the different groups have really put together. You know, the feedback that you've given us in terms of the group discussion is actually very good and actually you know, spot on accurate. And if we analyze some of the responses we've gotten, basically artificial intelligence is being used by all these line of businesses and industries to gain insight on the data that is being collected on a daily basis. And this insight is enabling line of businesses, head of line of businesses like a finance manager is able to have insight on how the company is doing in real time and is able to do a projection of how the company will be doing in a couple of months and a year, in 3 years. The possibilities are really endless. So insight overall, in any industry, insight is very important. That way organizations are able to make informed decisions when it comes to how much yield the farmer is producing, when it comes to how much money is being lost to fraud, that is within a bank and insurance, or if it's in e-commerce, what product is selling the most out of all the other products in their catalog, and how can we improve on the ones that are not selling, and how can we make sure that the demand, the inventory that we have in our warehouse is equal to the demand that we have on our platforms. So insight is the key goal here when it comes to artificial intelligence, and alongside the need to automate and the need to work remotely, especially because of the current pandemic crisis that is happening globally. So I commend you for all the feedback that you've given me, and for all the we've been able to have a very good discussion along the way as I was presenting. And maybe before I can oh yes, I was trying to move to the next slide. Before I can conclude, there's always one of the main reasons why I asked if we can come up with some of the risks that these line of businesses will have when they adapt AI is a lot of people will always automatically identify one of the risks as job loss. It's true. That is one of the downsides of automation, because automation is basically to make sure to get rid of those lengthy administrative tasks that can easily or minutes. So in one hand, it does lead to the loss of jobs. But on another hand, and that's why we're here, we're discussing emerging technologies, is that artificial intelligence and data analytics and data science is actually creating a lot of jobs and all over the world in different industries. And that's why we're saying, as easy as it is for machine learning technology to self-improve, what it lacks is intuition. And there's a gut instinct that can be replicated via algorithm, making humans an important piece of the puzzle at the end of the day. So thank you very much, guys. I had a very good time. Thank you for engaging me. Thank you for taking the time to actually join this module. And I look forward to interacting with you guys in different platforms. You can add me on LinkedIn. My name is Sheila Maweu. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Appreciated.